Okay. So today it should be a first class. It's basically introduction on top of data. So basically, who are quite new on top of data and who are trying to move your career into data analytics or data scientist or just like this. So this is very, very important to know about data, why data is required and all. Okay. So let me just start it. What is data? Data is basically collection of informations and it describes the quantity, quality, facts, statistics for each of the business, each of the industries and all. Okay. So by checking the data, actually, in each of the industries, I mean, you can see that we are collecting data. Industry is owner. Maybe I'm owner of a shopping mall. Okay. So when I'm owning it, so when anyone is purchasing something, so I'm collecting the information from their side, their name, their date of birth, their satisfactory index as well, their feedback, which things can help us to improve our business. So this kind of data we are collecting from each of the customers. So those are customer related information. Apart from that, we have stock related information. We should be having on employee related information. So all the informations we are collecting from some systems, and there are lots of computers available in the shopping outlet. So all the inputs are getting stored into somewhere, and those data are analyzed to get. I mean, why we are just analyzing this? This is because of the data will help us to grow in our business. It will be helping to analyze the data, and we can check and we can forecast our business. Okay, I mean, a good business revenue should be there, and this is not only for shopping mall industry. For each of the industry nowadays, all of them, they're following the data analysis so that by checking their, they can see the hidden trend. Maybe some hidden pattern is there which we cannot able to see without analyzing the data. So you're collecting the data from various aspects and we're analyzing the data. So this kind of data we are collecting: quantity, quality, fact, statistics. What is fact? What is dimension? Will be later. I mean, describing these things, but this is just nothing but we are collecting all the information from whatever action items we are doing. All the informations are collecting and they are storing somewhere. We are storing it somewhere means we are storing it in a database. Okay, I'll be coming to this point. What is databases and all, but just keep this thing in mind. Okay, purpose of data engineer is just I mentioned. So data engineer will do the data analytics part. Okay, they will flow the data, they will clean the data, they will transform the data. We are receiving, we means the data engineers, we are receiving the raw data. Raw data means whatever customers are putting. Maybe there are lots of self-service outlets are also there. We are scanning the material and we are putting our input over there. So whatever data maybe some users are putting, maybe some employees are putting. So just like this. So those are called raw data. But the raw data cannot be directly analyzed, or the raw data cannot be directly present to the stakeholders to check their business. So data engineers, they will be cleansing the data, they will be transforming the data, they will be organizing the data in meaningful way so that the end user or the stakeholder of this data can see these things and they can take their good business strategy. So this is the purpose of data engineer. Okay, so that is why for each of the industry nowadays, there are lots of industries. I mean, they're using data in huge volume. With lots of aspects they're using the data engineers, just like banking industry, commercial industry, insurance industry, medical industry, pharmaceutical. In each of the industry, they want their growths. They're also comparing the things with their competitive organization in the market. Okay, so suppose banking industry, there are lots of data actually daily basis. There are lots of transactions happen, credit, debits, all kind of loans and all. Lots of data are there. Lots of customers they are handling. They need to analyze how, why they are losing their business. They need to analyze why they are increasing their business. This kind of thing. What kind of things will be helping them for their future growth. They're also analyzing their, just I mentioned, competitors' market as well. What the competitors are doing. Maybe they are not receiving all the competitors' informations, but whatever they're receiving in which sources, that should be helpful. They're also analyzing these things. Okay. So suppose we are trying to get a job as a database engineer. So you can see, if we are just joining, maybe most of them should be having this kind of, we should be having this kind of client, insurance, health science, healthcare. Someone told me yesterday that they have worked in healthcare, but it was not directly in data position. Maybe they have particular person. I forgot the name. Can you please remember who has worked in healthcare last working
Yeah,
day?
I did work in
Okay,
healthcare
yeah,
and I
Harshita.
was,
Yeah,
yeah.
correct. So healthcare, there are also, they are having their own IT industries as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just like this, they want their business to be growing, and they're also checking their competitors' business as well. And they're collecting their information. They're also analyzing their information, and they're taking the decision how, what I have to do so that I can have a good business revenue at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the quarter. Okay, so all those industry should be our client. Any of this, if you're joining any company, maybe you can see that your client can be handling this kind of stuffs. Maybe their insurance company, maybe their commercial, banking, medical, pharmaceutical. Okay, each of the company should be having their own IT team. IT team, or they're just hiring their third party vendor, who are performing their IT operation. Okay, moving to the next slide. I'm just moving to the data now. If there is any data, stuck point or anything, you can ask me questions. Okay. Now we are just moving with a bit technical stuffs. Data can be, I'm segregating data with two things. One is called relational database. Another one is called non-relational database. Okay. So in the below pictorial image, as you can see, there are two pictures, and the two pictures are representing the same thing. Okay. In the first picture, we are having a table. The table is having two columns, name and email address. Okay. And we are inserting the records in this manner, horizontal manner. Okay. And the name is Ram. Email ID is ram21@gmail.com. Name is bob32@gmail.com. This kind of organization of data is called relational database. In relational database, the data should be organized in a tabular manner. Okay, there must be having a predefined columns. Lots of columns which are required. We need to determine the columns first. Okay, suppose when I'm creating a table, I need to determine what kind of column should be there. But we are not fixing the records that time. Record can be increased daily basis, hourly basis, second. In each second, record can be increased. Just I need to predetermine what should be the columns inside the table. Not only columns, we need to also think about the data types of columns and all. There are lots of things. I'll be discussing those things one by one. But as of now, just think in relational database, we should be having columnar structure. Okay. A non-relational database. You can see this is one of the example of non-relational database. There are lots of formats in non-relational database. This is kind of JSON. We are storing the data in key value pair. Okay. Someone you also aware of Python dictionary. You're also storing the things in this manner. So there are key value pair. The same two records are getting inserted over here, but it's a key value pair. We are mentioning there are no columnar structure over here. Okay. So it's name, Ram, email, ram@gmail.com. Same thing for the second row as well. So this kind of data representation is an example of non-relational database. Okay. So what is relational database? Now we can relate it. What is the difference between this and Why we will be focusing relational database in our future courses? Because I mean, for data analytics purpose, there are lots of advantages of non-relational database as well compared to relational database. There are, I mean, if we are storing something, if the data is stored such a purpose that while retrieving the data, we need a faster way to retrieve it. Then we need to use non-relational database. We need to store the data in such way, the below mentioned way. But for the analysis purpose, if we are moving to, I mean, just for analytics purpose, we need the data to be stored somewhere. Analytics analysis. So we will be preferring relational database that time. So that is why in our future classes, we'll be focusing mainly relational database. Okay. This kind of data we'll be focusing on. Let's see some, I mean, few more examples. And there's some definition on relational database as well. Uh, a relational database, it's also called relational database management system. In short form, it's called RDBMS. It stores information in tables. Just I mentioned, it should be organized in a tabular format. Okay, in table means there must be having some columns. Okay, and there are not only single tables, there should be having multiple tables, and those multiple tables can set up relationship between them. That is why those are called relational database management system. How the relation can be established? I'll be showing this thing in the next picture, next slide. Then I'll discuss these 2 points. So moving to the next slide first. Okay. So here you can see in a particular database storage system, I have stored 4 different tables: customer table, order table, address table, product table. All the customer related information I'll be storing over here. Suppose I'm owning a shopping mall. In a shopping mall, while running my business, I need to store these 4 tables. Okay, customer table, order table, address table, product table. But I'm not only storing this data over here, I'm keeping some relationship between the table. How I'm setting the relationship? You can see there are common columns. In customer table, we are having order ID. In order table, we are having order ID. If we have common columns, we can set up a join between tables and we can retrieve information from each table to another table. Okay. Suppose I need a particular customer bought which particular product. Here it's not mentioned. Only seeing this table, I cannot able to understand which particular product ID the particular customer has purchased. Then what I have to do? I just need to check order ID is the common column between the customer table and order table. So I need to join between these 2 columns and I need to fetch information of product ID from this table to this table. I can set relationship. Okay. Why we are splitting those tables? Now the question may arise. We can only store a single table. In the single table, we should be having the column customer ID, customer date of birth. Instead of order ID, I can put product ID and date. Instead of address ID, I can put 2 different columns called address ID can be there. We can also include line 1, pin code. For product, I can also include product ID, price, rating. So all the things should be in a single table so that I can check the data when it's required. Why we are not storing this way? These questions, the answer of this question we will be covering in tomorrow's session when we will be learning normalization process. Okay, but we are storing the data in this way. We are splitting the data in this kind of tables, and those tables are having common columns. Just like for this table, order ID is the common column. For this 2 table, address ID is the common column. For this 2 table, product ID is the common column. So we are having common columns so that we can set up relationships between the tables. Okay. So that is why this is one of the main aspects of relational database management system. Now, while setting up the relationships, there are two more points I want to discuss. The last 2 points. There are concept of primary key and foreign key. Okay, let me go to the pictorial diagram. It should be easy to describe what is primary key and foreign key. What is key basically? I'll be coming to the keys column again in tomorrow's session. Let me quickly discuss over here. Then I'll be again repeating these things in tomorrow's session. This is very, very important. Okay. So over here in each of the table, you can see there should be a row identifier. Means that particular data cannot be duplicated inside the table. Suppose customer table. Suppose we have an employee table. In employee table, we are storing daily basis information, employees information. Maybe some employees join to a company. I'm storing his information, his or her information in our employee table. So the name should be matched. There can be duplicate names. Maybe I have thousands of employees. Maybe 2 or 3 employees are having same name. Maybe they are having same date of birth as well. So how I can segregate between employees? There should be some row identifier in each of the table. Over here, I can tell that I can put employee IDs and that should be unique for each of the employee. Generally, we do this way. If we have employee table, the first column should be employee ID, which should be identifier and which should be unique in nature for each of the employee. Similarly, for banking customer, they should be having a customer ID or CIF number. Anything you can tell. Okay. So this particular ID should be unique in nature for each of the row of these tables. This kind of keys are called primary keys of that table, primary key, which are helping for that table to identify a single row, a single combination of records. Okay. Let me give you an example over here. Over here, order table is there, product table is there. Okay. In order table, I'm keeping all the orders. I'm keeping all the product IDs, date. In order table, order ID must be unique as we are keeping each order over here. Each order is signified with each order ID. So order ID should be unique in nature in order table. Order ID is the primary key in order table. Okay. Order ID column is called primary key in order table. Similarly, in product table,
Excuse me. I
yeah, tell me.
have a question.
Yeah, hi,
As you
Irfan.
said that,
Tell me.
hi, just now you said that the order ID should be unique. But
Correct.
if in case, like maybe due to an error or by any chance, the two products have a same ID, then what's gonna happen?
No, you are telling about this table, correct? Product table. Two product is having same ID, correct?
No, 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 no. In order
In
table,
order table,
just now
two
you,
records are having same order ID. This is the question.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that cannot be there. So we'll be learning constraint part in when we'll be doing SQL directly in hands-on. So while implementing the primary key, when I'm implementing primary key, I implemented primary key order ID in order table. If I do this
Mm.
way, so if already a order ID has been inserted, if I'm trying to insert another record with the same order ID, it will be throw error because
Okay,
order ID should be unique in nature. We'll be learning those steps gradually, maybe third
okay,
or fourth day when we'll be learning
okay,
SQL part. But as of now, just remember primary key should be always unique in a table. Okay, we need to design this way. Otherwise, it will not be helping us to set up a relational database. I hope it clarifies your question, or maybe you can wait few days. Then it should be, I mean, automatically clarifying it. It's a good question
okay.
actually. But when we will be learning SQL, when we will be learning constraint part, when we'll be trying to insert the same primary key again into the table, then we can get the error that there cannot be duplication in primary keys. Okay. As of now, we can focus on the primary key declaration. So in order table, order ID is the primary key. The particular record in order ID cannot be duplicated in each of the records. Okay. But now think about the product ID. Product ID means over here, just go to product table. I can give each of the product a particular ID reference. Okay. Suppose I have some detergent of 500 kgs. I can give them one product ID. I have the same detergent with having 200 kgs. I can give another product ID because I need to segregate each of the product with a particular identifier. So in product table, I'm just only storing all the product related information. So each of the product IDs, their price. This way, maybe their brand is there also. Okay. So, but over here, now assume a particular order is having a particular product ID. Another order ID, I'm inserting another record. The second order ID is having the same product ID. It can be happen. Two or three persons they're purchasing the same product ID. It's not a big deal. It can be there. It is a possible scenario. So in order table, product ID can be inserted multiple times. Same product ID can be inserted multiple times. But over here, order ID should be unique in nature. But both of the column is having ID column. Now think in product table, product ID should be always unique. Okay. So in product table, product ID is the primary key. And we are setting relationship with order table and product table based on product ID. This is the common column between order table and product table, product ID. So can set relationship with the product ID, and now product ID is performing a role of foreign key in order table. This is very important
Uh,
concept. I'll be repeating this
excuse
thing
me.
again. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, Irfan,
So
tell me.
just now you said you have put the two different order ID with the
Cor-
same product ID.
Correct. It can be a
Okay.
possible scenario. Just think about a shopping mall.
Yeah, yeah. So my
Okay.
question is like the two different ID with the same same product ID. So in the product table, it won't show any error because two product ID are same.
No, in product table, we're only storing only distinct product related information. Just watch the column names. Forget about the ratings. Just think about product ID and price. Price can be MRP or just like this. Okay. So over there, we are not storing multiple products. We are just storing only product related informations. So product ID 123 and its price. Product ID 234 and its price. Product ID 789 and
No, no,
its
no, no, no.
price.
My question is like, for example, the product ID is ABC. Okay.
Correct? Hmm.
And the product ID is 123. So if I put another order with the different order ID, for example, 345, and the product ID is again ABC.
Correct?
So the two different product ID, but two same product ID. But when we go in the product column, the product ID of the two items gonna be ABC and ABC.
Correct?
So with the same product ID ABC, it won't show any error, or
Correct. Because
it's
in
fine.
order table, order ID is the primary key and product ID is
Okay,
not the primary key in order table.
okay, I got it.
So product table, I just want to pull the reference. In order table, product ID is performing the foreign key. Okay, product ID is the primary key in some other table. That is why I'm trying to say, that's the thing. Product ID is the primary key in product table. But product ID is not a primary key in order table. In order table, we have separate primary key, order ID. Okay, so what things they are performing? What things it's performing over here? It's a foreign key. So during designing RDBMS systems, we need to set up this kind of primary key and foreign key systems. So I need to first determine what should be the primary key for each of the table. Now, while setting the relationship, I need to have the primary keys to be operated in some other table and which should be working as a foreign key. Similar, there are similar things for other tables as well. Just take a look. In customer table, customer ID will be working as the primary key. But there are two ID columns as well, order ID and address ID. Those are not performing any primary key operation. Those are foreign keys because those particular keys should be helping just to set relationship between order table and address table. Okay. So in address table, address ID is the primary key, but in customer table, address ID is performing a foreign key. It will be just helping to set relationship between customer and address. Suppose I need to set relationship between customer and product, then I need to go through this table because I need to check. I can see that there is a common column order ID which is performing as a foreign key over here, and this is a primary key. So I can get all the order related information from here. Now we have product related information, product ID over here. So I can fetch all the product, what are the details and all. Particular customers bought how much, I mean purchase how much amount. The price is only there only. Okay, price is available only here. So I need to make join between these two table and these two table. Then I can fetch all the informations from this table to this table. Okay, so I need to set up this kind of foreign key and primary key relationship between each of the table. But just keep the concept in mind. We'll be going through each of the details. When we'll be designing the table in database in our hands-on practice, we'll be designing all those things. No need to worry about, I mean, maybe some people are quite new over here. Just remember what is foreign key, what is primary key. I'll be repeating this thing again in tomorrow's session. Okay, so just recall it. What is primary key? How primary key should be working? Each of the tables should be having a primary key. What is foreign key? I think it's clear now, but if there is any doubt from anyone, please ask me questions. Any doubt while understanding primary or foreign? I hope, I mean, your concept is clear, correct, Irfan? What you are
Yes,
asking?
sir.
Okay, okay. Anyone is having any doubt so far? No doubt from anyone? Okay, it's fine then. So I'll be repeating this thing once more time in tomorrow's session because foreign key and primary key, this is very, very important. And everything will be clear again when we'll be doing the hands-on part, when we'll be designing our primary key and foreign key. So this is how relational database management systems are created. I mean, there should be this kind of concepts of primary key. A table uses columns to define the information being stored and rows for the actual data. Each table will have a column that must have unique values, and this is called the primary key. Okay, and the similar kind of foreign key I've also described it over here. When one table's primary key is used in another table, this column in the second table is known as foreign key. This is what the definition, or they use uses of primary key and foreign key. Okay, moving to the next slide. So the day after tomorrow we'll be going through, when we are storing the data in database, in relational database, when we are fetching the data from the database, we need to follow this kind of query languages. This is called SQL or SQL. In full form of SQL is called structured query language. This is a structural database. So while fetching the data from the database, or while retrieving, or while doing any kind of data analysis, what particular language we'll be putting in our query window, this is called SQL, structured query language. Okay, this is just a quick demonstration, this kind of language we'll be using, but in detail we'll be discussing how the languages are working. Okay, now I'm just having a brief introduction on non-relational database and how the things are looking So I have one of the example, NoSQL. This is one kind of non-relational database. I mean, we are following it over here. NoSQL, it's means not only SQL. So especially we are, I mean, just I mentioned that we are storing the data in key value format. This is one of the JSON format. Over here, you can see this way we are storing the data. Maybe we have separate records. We can append the thing with a this kind of curly braces and introduce another data set. I mean, another record in this manner over here. One of the big advantage over here, we can set up this kind of hierarchy. You can see in address, we are splitting the thing into separate key value pair. But in the table, we cannot be having this kind of structures. A column, then we are splitting the column into sub columns. These kind of things are not there. If we just want to describe this thing in a relational database, we need to put after age, there should be street address. We cannot be having this kind of parent key. Then we are splitting it out. We should be having a street address, city, state, postal code in this way. So this kind of hierarchy we cannot maintain in relational database, but we can maintain it over here easily. Phone numbers, just like over there in phone numbers, we are using a kind of array. Then again, we are just putting this kind of JSONs. I mean, type home, number this, type office, number this. Okay. So this is how we are storing data. This is one of the representation of the data in no relational database, not relational database. Okay. There is another, I mean, you can also see this is also a not relational database. This is a graphical representation of the data. In the top portion, you can see this is a tables. We are having year versus revenue data over here. It's a tabular data, but the same data can be represented over here in this way. It's a graphical format of the data. The data is same, but it's not a relational data. Okay, this is another way of data representation. Rather, the end user, the business owner, they're checking, they're mainly focusing on this kind of data. That should be helping them to identify the business, their analysis parts and all by checking those charts and graphs. So there is, I mean, this is another kind of data representation. Basic examples with Excel, I'll be not be providing these things. Okay, it's not required now. Before that, before closing today's session, today is very small. So there are lots of relational database available in the market. Okay, so the day after tomorrow, when we'll be learning the databases, when we'll be learning the SQL, I'll be just telling to install a software. If you are already having any kind of softwares, then it's fine. There are lots of database softwares just like called MySQL, Oracle, AMS SQL Server, which is in Microsoft, Teradata. There are Postgres. Lots of databases are available in the market. But I mean, we need to have a quick demonstration with any one of the database. So I'm just suggesting to install this database in your systems. It's called MySQL database. It's an open source database, the free installation. I'm just pasting the link over here. This is the thing. Download this bigger version. Just go to the link, download this version and install it in your systems. Okay, the installation is very simple. It will hardly take 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And while installing it, while configuring the database, it will be asking for a password. That is the database authentication password. You can put the password, but don't forget the password. In earlier classes, students, they're putting the password, but they're forgetting it. Okay, so don't forget the password because when each time we'll be logging into the database, we need that password to be logged in. Okay, so download this installer at your system and install it. There should be, 3 or 4 software should be installed. A backend MySQL database should be installed. And to operate this backend MySQL database, there are a UI called MySQL Workbench. It will be also installed with this package. Okay. So if we open this, if we try to log into the database, then it will be asking for the password daily basis. Suppose this is
Uh,
the
excuse me. Sorry. So you said it's gonna ask the password. So when we install that MySQL, so it will
correct.
show the password.
No, you need to configure it. This is one of the
Okay.
part of the installation process. But I'm
So how
just
will
suggesting don't forget the password. Password will be
no,
required daily basis.
my question is how we will get the password?
No, password should be yourself. I mean, you need to configure the passwords during installation.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, got it.
So, but don't forget the password. While logging in each time of this database, I need to put the password over here. Okay. And
Does
we'll be
this
doing the
support to
demonstration part in
MacBook?
MySQL database. Yeah, tell me.
It's also supports to the MacBook, or only we need to get it set up in the Windows?
I just pasted the link for Windows. You can also check for MacBook as well. Select operating systems. Okay, I need to go a bit back. Can also get it MySQL for, just search it MySQL for Mac. Okay, you need to search it from here. Okay, for Mac OS there are tar files. So yeah, for Mac OS also it's available. Check it with your suitable versions if you have Mac OS and can download it. Okay, but I pasted the link for Windows only. So download it because we'll be, I mean, download and install the same. Tomorrow, maybe we can have a quick introduction on top of database. But I mean, maybe you are also working with such companies. I mean, you have also having some demonstration with database earlier. Maybe you have installed Oracle. It's fine. No need to uninstall it. No need to install again MySQL. That is fine. Each of the databases, I mean, the syntax are almost same. The 90% syntax are same. The concept is same also. Okay, but for each of the databases, this is very important thing. For each of the databases, there should be some inbuilt functions. The inbuilt functions syntax can be a bit different. It's not a huge difference. As I mentioned, the functional things are same. The particular, I mean, the functions, the functional things, everything is same, but syntax can be a bit different among each of the databases. But this is not a big deal. You can learn any database, but you just need to learn the SQL query. I'll be mentioning these things one by one. Asking for a setup type, what it should be. Setup type means just try to install it. I'll be checking. Okay, I'll be checking this system once more time. Can you send me the screenshot over here? Or maybe let me just complete this thing. I'll be giving you the host privileges. Then you can share your screen. Okay. I mean, I'm almost completed in today's session. It's totally introductory session. So after the installation of the database, when we'll be doing the hands-on, it will be taking some time for daily basis. So everyone, please
So
try to install it. Yeah, tell me.
my question is, can you just share us the thing what we are gonna cover in this class, like for 2 months? What are the
Yeah, I
points
have
you're gonna cover?
provided these things in last. I mean, I have projected my screen for the last working day. For the Excel, I mean, I think you have.
I
Let
think
me
I
just.
missed that.
Yeah, let me just open this thing. Okay, so this thing I have presented last working day. So this is the core structure. Maybe some differences. Maybe we'll be. I mean, some differences with the days. Some extra days we need to put if that day it's not finished or just like this. But this is the overall thing. We'll be starting with the introduction just like today. Another day, tomorrow, we'll be learning the normalization process. Very, very important thing. After that, we'll be moving to SQL. SQL means that query languages for which we require the particular software. Just I mentioned, it's MySQL database. It's an open source free database. So it will take maybe 1 week or more than that, 1 week, 5 days. 1 week, 3 days, just like this, to be complete the entire SQL part, having some hands-on, then business intelligence, Python's Python course, chapter should be covered with 1 week, some days, 2, 3 days. Basics, on top of cloud computings, big data concepts, Git, Power BI. Okay, so this is the entire course structure. We'll be following one by one. And the previous day, I'll be telling what things should be covered the next day. Okay, suppose I am just moving some courses earlier. So I'll be telling the same thing in the previous day. But it should be following in this way. Okay. Is it clear,
Okay.
Irfan?
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
is it possible that you can share this recordings with us?
Yeah. I'll be providing the recordings with some of the Teradata admin today only. And they are used to, this particular recording will be saved in my local. So I'll be forwarding this thing to one of the Teradata admin team member. They will be providing this thing in some, YouTube link or any other link. I'm not sure. I think YouTube link. Yeah. So you need to check it from there only. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be requesting that, admin team members to put the recording links in the WhatsApp group so that everyone can have the access on it. Okay. I'll be just handing over this thing to them so that, my scope is only this thing. They will be uploading the video in YouTube link. Okay. Any doubt from any other, if you have already any database installed or any thing you want to discuss over here? Okay, server only, client only. Let me just check it. You can put a full installation. There'll be no issue. Okay, just have a full installation there. Okay, because only server will not be helping us. We need the UI as well. So MySQL server is the backend database. If we install full installation, we should be having a good UI that is called MySQL Workbench. By opening this UI only, we can do our SQL query. You can also do this thing in backend as well. I'll be showing this thing in tomorrow's session. Okay, as of now, you can have a full installation. Okay, any other doubts? Or if there is any installation issue, we can also discuss the same thing in tomorrow's session. Okay, I hope there is no issue. We can discuss just quickly revisit the thing. Just have a homework. The difference between SQL and NoSQL database. Okay, what are the different advantages and disadvantages? It's not actually homework, just for your learning purpose. Have a quick look on that. Whatever just we learned, just have a quick look. We again will be having a recap with few of the topics because the topics are interlinked. Okay, but just for your curiosity, just check it when you have some free time. The difference between SQL and NoSQL database. Okay, tomorrow we'll be learning normalization process, a quick introduction in the database, MySQL database, and if there is any stuck point from anyone, while installing the database, you can also check it there. Okay, and the day after tomorrow, it should be totally practical. Maybe it should be next week. It should be focusing on SQL part. We'll be moving to language. We'll be creating our tables in a database. We'll be doing the data analyzing part over there. Okay, so thank you everyone.
Okay,
Let's
so
connect
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
note. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Tell me.
I thought day after tomorrow you mentioned, right? So I thought,
Yeah, day after tomorrow, it should be on Monday. So in the
okay,
first new week, we will be starting the hands-on part, the SQL part.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Okay then. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.